Hello, everyone. Welcome to Far From Just Words. Sometimes I think the West likes talking about democracy, but not actually doing the work or actually taking action. Whereas there are many countries in Asia that are actually doing it. For example, you see places like Singapore, you see other places that actually they are serving the people. I think that is much more important than who you vote in and vote out. Actually serving the people, making sure that the people are living lives that are comfortable, making sure that everyone has something, a job or something, encouraging people to go to work, making sure that you teach the society socially, politically. You would discover that right from their homes, they teach their kids what to do. They teach their kids how to behave in public. They teach their kids how to behave towards other kids and other persons around. They teach their kids how to be moral. They teach their kids how to serve their nation. They teach their kids to understand that what is being given to them is because they are loved. You know, I always have this thing where, I always say, if you cannot understand something, I think call someone around you, a friend or a family member that has gone out of that place where you are. Maybe he might find words to explain it to you that you understand. It's like a deaf person and a person who cannot sign. So you either find someone that can sign, that knows sign language, so that the deaf person can understand you. If not, both of you can't understand each other. Of recent, there was an example about there's Americans these days cannot pay their hospital bills or medical bills or something due to the slashing of the Medicare and whatever. And I always say to myself that in the action of democracy and what it actually means when you look at the bigger picture of democracy, it is talking about the fact that people can now go out to protest on things like this that are important to them and important to everyone. Not just sitting down and trying to put people in boxes and in categories, and because someone missed calling you he or she or some other guy was white and the other one is black, all those categories. I think this is where it gets all a little bit, how can I say, it gets a little bit clouded, because the objective is put aside and then people are looking at something else. The objective of a political person is to serve his nation. And if the people are uncomfortable or are not doing well enough, then that comes back to you, which means you are not performing enough. That is why they are failing. It's not the other way around. You know, there's something I always say to some friends. I say, I think most of Western politicians are warmongers. And it has been in the system so much so that even the people, like the people from those nations, behave in that same manner, unknowingly. Because you're spending billions of dollars for missiles and warships and stuff. No one is coming to attack you. You are always the one going to attack other people for whatever reason. They could just be in their nations and do what they are doing, and it doesn't have to involve you. But you decide to be all these things and then look for who to kill. So the question is, why not take that money and put it in your citizens? Take care of your people, make them comfortable, make them useful, create them jobs. Because these days, places like America, The alien is a problem. Because the thing, the alien, because the $10 or $5 he gets an hour is the reason why he couldn't put bread on his table or her table. Or the reason why the daughter couldn't go to that school that he or she wants. That is the foolishness. The alien was never your problem. The alien will never be your problem. You are blaming the wrong people. Whereas you should be looking at your own politicians. Where is the money going to? The system in place. How can they fix it so that everyone is comfortable, so that medical bills are paid? Retirement benefits, I mean, if something can be done about retirement benefits to make it go up a little bit, since things are becoming expensive, so they could increase the retirement benefits, they could increase salaries. How can that be fixed? You're looking at the alien, the man who came from meters and millions of miles away, took that risk that you insult, call him names. Not looking at him as a courageous man and a brave woman. Because some of you you will never be able to leave your own home. You can't, you're scared. He took that chance for his family. And all he does every day is go to work, come back for that family. And you think the bread on his table is what you would have had? Out of all the aliens, how many percentage of them are billionaires and millionaires? Those that you actually attack on the road. Because most of those that are billionaires and millionaires, you will not even see them to attack them. You attack the poor guy who is maybe a cleaner or a gardener somewhere taking care of his family for some $10. What does it change in your family? You haven't been taught the whole route that leads to what is democracy. So as I say again, maybe call your family, your brother or sister that is somewhere in Asia or Middle East or somewhere. Let them tell you how other people treat their citizens in their country and what are the advantages of those citizens in their countries. And then maybe, just maybe, you will understand that your democracy is you just talking about it, but you're not doing anything about it. Your politicians talk about it, but they don't take no action. And you think being democratic is voting in or voting out someone. No, it's serving the people. And they are not serving you. They are serving their selfish interests in whatever business or investments they have. But you don't think about it. You think when you watch the news, they say it's the alien. It's the alien. Where is your reasoning? Where is your reasoning? Where is your capacity to reason, to think deep, and to understand the situation that you are getting into? Where is it? You're just angry? Is everyone always having... Because it always seems like on American television or some Western television, I mean, every day they keep coming up with new names of illnesses and disease, mental disease, depression, and this and that. They're always coming up with something. And with the social media, it's being promoted on the algorithm every second of the day. And I keep asking, so everyone is always having some HDD or ADD or 4DD or something? Or what is happening? People are not normal anymore. A kid cannot just fail an exams and he failed an exams and he's dumb and that he needs maybe a prep teacher to make his grades better. And then you have to dump all of these on aliens or other countries that are being bombed. So I ask myself these random questions. Apart from the politicians, do some of you understand some kind of democracy that happens? Because it's not just something that is in a political sphere. It goes out of that sphere and actually comes into your own homes. It's in your home. It's on the streets that you walk. It's the security that you feel in the night when you walk with your purse, with your money, with your phone on your hand. That is democracy. That is what are the consequences, the effects of democracy, which sometimes people call bad governance. Yeah. Because, I mean, the opposite is bad governance. The opposite of that is bad governance. So which means democracy is what? Good governance. If only they're doing what is right. And of course, democracy means there must be votes. People have to vote. But if people vote the wrong people, so nothing ever changes. So democracy is not working. So there is no democracy. If we have been voting a wrong person for the last 10 years, and yet you cannot go out of your house after 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. to have a drink with your friends without being pickpocket or robbed, then democracy is not working in your country, and which you can be translated to what? Bad governance. When you can drive your car and then there are potholes, more than 10 potholes in a 1 meter road, bad governance. So democracy is not working. So when the West tells me about democracy, I always ask myself, is it really working for you guys? Because you want other people to copy democracy, but is it working for you? Because if it's working for you, then we should really copy it. Then we should take it, we should practice it, we should do it. Because it's not really working for you. Because why would you leave your country, refuse to give your people what is necessary for them to make their lives better, so that you could buy missile, travel to another person's country, so that you could fight wars like olden days, then blame their cultures to be old? The problem is you keep bad characters, and you keep bad habits, and you keep bad cultures, then call them progression. Then blame other people that kept good cultures, good values as archaic. The truth is, democracy is a bucket of everything. It's a big well of everything. It's not just the voting out and voting in of people. It's everything. Goodbye. See you next time.